Monday, and welcome back to the Lorden Arts channel. I'm John Lorden. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here today. Case Cracked is the show where we look into a mystery and what are the critical pieces that help solve that mystery. Today's episode is a perfect example of the power of caring. It was December 1985, and temperatures in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee had been surprisingly mild. It invited outdoor lovers to keep enjoying their favorite activities, whether that be hiking, camping, or fishing. But one angler got more than he bargained for on the 16th. While walking along Battle Creek, just north of town, the local fisherman discovered a body. It was in the water, close to the bank. He quickly turned back to alert the authorities. When Marion County investigators arrived, they realized that they had the partially decomposed body of a man who stood about 6 feet tall. His body was still fully clothed in new Jordache jeans and an LL Bean long-sleeve shirt with a blue Oxford shirt underneath it. He wore no jewelry or shoes and had no wallet. The decomposition made identification practically impossible. No facial features to analyze, no fingerprints. This was going to be a tough investigation right from the start. An autopsy conducted by state anthropologist Dr. Bill Bass showed that the man was between 25 and 35 years old and had died about a month before he was found. He had suffered fatal fractures to the base of his skull. He also had a fractured rib and vertebrae, convincing the doctor that his death was certainly a homicide. A forensic sketch was made. Missing persons cases and open investigations were checked, but no match could be found. He became known as the 1985 Marion County John Doe. As Marion County PD worked the case, one investigator with the 12th Judicial District Attorney's Office had taken notice of this case as well. Larry Davis knew that several murders of young white men had occurred along the interstates in this area before John Doe was found. 2 of those were found in Marion County a year apart and could have been committed by the same person. There was a chance that John Doe was the newest killing by an unknown serial killer. Davis hoped that by connecting the murders, he would be able to find John Doe's identity and help bring closure to his family, but no connection could be made. Over the years, the case was looked at periodically, and in 2009, a DNA sample was extracted from one of John Doe's teeth. Still, they could find no new leads, and unfortunately, Marion County John Doe's case grew cold. When Davis originally worked the case in 1985, he was 32 years old. In 2017, at the age of 69, his thoughts had turned to retirement, and a few cases that had remained unsolved throughout his career had nagged at him. One of them was the Marion County John Doe. "I want to clear up this case before I die," he said. "There are loved ones out there. His loved ones, his mom and dad. We're obligated to find out who these people are." In December, he asked the Chattanooga Times Free Press to run an article about those unsolved cases. They agreed, and it was published on January 29, 2018. In the article, he discussed 2 cases in particular, one murder that took place before John Doe's, and even though the victim was identified soon after the body was found, the murderer was never identified. He believed there was a good chance the same perpetrator was responsible for John Doe's murder as well. 43-year-old Barbara King Ladd read that article. The stay-at-home mother lived not far from the area that John Doe was found in Marion County, Tennessee. She decided to dig into the case and see what she could find. Using the forensic sketch that had been drawn so many years ago, she began to compare pictures from cases in her state as well as neighboring states. Quote, "I thought it would be worth the effort to cross state lines to dump a body, so I honed in on Georgia because it was close to Marion County," she explained. A day or 2 later, she found a case that had been reported to the Chamblee Police Department in Georgia in November of 1985. The man's name was Donald Boardman, and he bore a striking resemblance to John Doe's sketch. She sent emails to the 12th Judicial District Attorney's Office. At first, she received no reply, but eventually, none other than Larry Davis emailed her back. He stated that he had taken her information to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's Fusion Center in Nashville. All they could do now was wait to hear from them. She waited, but didn't hear back. When she inquired about the information, she was finally told that with no fingerprints or DNA for comparison, there was nothing more that they could do. In April of 2021, she became so frustrated that she made a decision, quote, "That's when I said, I'm going to take all this information and send it directly to Chamblee." She decided her best course of action would be to connect with them on their Facebook page so the department would have an account to look at and know that she wasn't just some hoaxer. It just so happened that Lori Bradburn, Chamblee Police Department's criminal analyst, was checking the page that day. She said the message piqued her interest, so she ran with it. She was unfamiliar with the case, which prompted a look at the old case file and the Times Free Press article. She then contacted Barbara to compare notes. They both agreed that DNA was the easiest way to solve this case. Lori knew from her research that Donald Boardman had a sister that was still living. In the summer of 2021, they contacted Donald's sister in Florida and asked if she was willing to give a sample. She agreed. When testing was completed in February of 2022, they got their answer. Donald Boardman was indeed the 1985 Marion County John Doe. With his identity revealed, the Chamblee Police Department now had a complete picture to look at and were able to tell friends and family about Donald's last days. In November of 1985, Donald had just started a new job at Miller & Zell Designs in Atlanta, Georgia. He had also just bought a brand new 1985 Chevrolet Camaro Z28. He planned to visit a health food show being held at the convention center in Atlanta and then travel to his parents' house near Chamblee to celebrate Thanksgiving. Before the holiday arrived, Donald's employer called his parents to say that he had not been to work since the 16th. On November 19th, his father, Harry, filed a missing persons report. Donald was known to everyone as a snappy dresser, and with the purchase of his new car, his family and police feared that he might have been robbed. On the 29th, police in East Point, a town only 15 minutes away, called Chamblee to say that they had recovered Donald's car. It had been in the possession of 3 individuals, a woman and 2 men. While leaving a barbecue restaurant intoxicated, they were stopped by police. When the license plate was checked, it showed that it belonged to Donald and had been reported stolen. East Point PD's police report shows that the car was wanted by Chamblee in connection with a suspected missing person foul play situation. When the Camaro was searched, Donald's Visa card was found under the left rear seat where one of the male suspects was sitting. It was found that the card had been used to buy gas, shop at department stores, visit 2 different Chevrolet dealerships, as well as buying parts at a motorcycle salvage yard. When people at the locations were questioned, the trio matched the description of the people who had made the purchases. Even though 2 of the individuals had extensive criminal records and 1 active warrant for armed robbery, we could find no charges being filed against the 3 for this specific case. The 2 men involved have since passed away, but the woman is alive somewhere. To this day, she has not been found and is still being sought for questioning in this case. Investigators believe that Donald was killed in a carjacking that went wrong, and that his body was dumped across state lines to send investigators in the wrong direction. Debbie Boardman Anderson, Donald's 70-year-old sister, was caught off guard when she heard the news about her brother. The week before, she and her husband Mike had been in a car accident that left her with some minor head trauma. When Larry Davis called to tell her the news, she was so shocked that she was struck with amnesia. She explains, quote, "I was told afterwards that it could be a combination of minor head trauma and stress, hearing some incredibly stressful news. I mean, amnesia? That's something you see in the movies." For the next 3 hours, Mike sat with her until she regained her senses. Even though there may never be any charges in her brother's murder, she's thankful that she's able to bring him home. It was finally time for everything to happen, she said. She also plans to lay Donald to rest at a memorial by the sea and hopes that everyone involved with his case will attend. As for the 2 women who helped solve this case, they hope to work together again in the future. Larry Davis says that Barbara's persistence on this case is what finally solved it. "I'm so glad she went to the source and gave her thoughts to Lori," he said. "If she hadn't, I'd still be looking for Donald." Case cracked. I would like to thank the Charlie Project, timesfreepress.com, Verity Creates at medium.com, and Fox 5 Atlanta. Of course, the biggest thank you goes to Christy Arnhart for researching and writing up today's case. Unfortunately, she's off this week, but I've got some thoughts on this case that I'd like to share with you guys, starting with persistence and a chain of caring people. That's really what brings the answers to this family. Larry Davis being persistent, and in a way, I'm almost not sure about some of his persistence. It seems like he was really trying to find a serial killer. And I don't know that that actually panned out here. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough information about this other case that he was trying to link to this one where I could tell you guys if that case was actually solved or not. But we know just through the telling of this story, there's two different times he's trying to put together kind of a serial killer case. I don't know. But he didn't let go. He didn't let go of this case. He kept at it. He kept trying to put it out in the public when it came back to him that, hey, this is one of those that's unsolved. I really want to do something with this. He puts it back out there. And then Barbara Ladd kind of picks up the ball. She reads the article, gets an interest in this case. And what a great story of someone just caring, just being at home, becoming aware of this case and wanting to take the extra step. There's something that I deal with quite a bit, where I struggle with the thought of how sometimes true crime is presented to people and what the expectation is for that presentation. Like if you watch something on, like watch some big documentary on one of the streaming services or something, what's their expectation? Is it really that they're trying to motivate you to action? Or is it really that they're just trying to entertain you and, grab that view and that's it? There's something very special in seeing that Larry obviously put that information out because he was trying to get further action. And Barbara, someone that's not necessarily connected to the case, is the next piece of that chain and picks it up. But then she cares enough to do that. But he's also right about her persistence. She doesn't let it go. She makes sure that information gets driven in. And that's why time and time again, when I'm telling you guys, hey, we got to call in tips. If you've called in tips before, call them in again. This isn't the first time I've heard about this. Sometimes you need that tip to land at a different location, like we hear in this story. Sometimes it's even the same department, but it's just got to be a different person that picks up the phone and that information comes into play. So I'm just really thankful that Barbara kind of really stayed on top of this. In a way, I'm also challenged by it because thinking about the expectation that that you're going to get some response for the information you send in. Like, I don't have that expectation. I'm constantly putting out information to other agencies. I don't expect anything in return. So I don't know if it's a great thing to expect that, hey, I've kicked in this information, there should be some response I should hear about. It's been pretty rare in my experience that you actually do get that kind of response. But whatever, in this case, it worked. And maybe that's a lesson for me. Maybe that's a lesson for some of you guys out there. And I also really appreciate that she did it on Facebook. I like that she used Facebook for this because of two things. One, first of all, it gave Lori Bradburn the opportunity to see this. And I don't know if it was a public post on Facebook or if it went in through, like the private messaging feature. I have a feeling it was a public post. And I think a public post like that, is helpful because it's also in the public. It all of a sudden, it's not like it lays accountability, but if you go there and you post publicly, hey, I've got some information I'm trying to get to you guys, I can't get a response. I really think that this is going to solve a unidentified body case and a missing persons case at the same time. Can someone just please help us out and check this out? Like if you phrase it that way and you put it out in public and other people are looking at that page, you're going to get some response on that. I think you're going to get some other people about, hey, PD, why aren't you taking a look at this? But that's not even the response you're going for. Yes, pressure can certainly, someone said it to me last week, pressure bursts pipes. I get it. It can certainly be helpful. But outside of that, it gave the opportunity for the person that actually works in the police department to see that message, to respond to it, and to get in touch. So I really like that aspect. I think if you're going to try to engage a police department on any social media, Facebook is probably my number one pick. They're just very responsive. There's a lot of PDs that are trying to use it as kind of a little bit of a digital face for like, hey, look at what our department is, look at what we do. You know, if they're giving away awards, you'll see them posted there. If they're doing fundraisers, you'll see it posted there. But this is a good use for it as well. So I think there's definitely some lessons that we can get there. But while this mystery has been solved, it's still not 100% a case cracked. There is a slim chance at some form of justice still being served. So if you have any information on the woman that may be connected to this case, please contact the Chamblee Police Department's Investigative Division at 770-986-5008. A big thank you once again to Christy Arnhart, but also to our PayPal supporters, Jennifer Dixon, Amanda Beard, and I want to give a special thank you to Crazy Kitty Cat. For over 6 years, we've always run limited commercial ads here on YouTube, and we can't do that without support. If you'd like to help the channel keep going, please visit lordandarts.com. There, you can sign up for Patreon, sign up for PayPal, buy merchandise, or even just buy us a coffee, like Shauna Blackwood recently did. We know that learning about the mechanisms that help support and find justice in these cases is important to understand the many unsolved cases we also cover, and we really appreciate your support in allowing us to continue doing that. Remember, you can get another Lord and Art story every week on the Seriously Mysterious podcast. A new episode is coming tomorrow, and every Tuesday after that, visit seriouslymysterious.com and subscribe on your favorite podcatchers. While you're here, don't forget to subscribe below and hit that bell icon if you want to catch one of our weekly Secret Studio live shows. And of course, I'll be back with a new Unsolved Mystery for you on Friday, right here on the Lord and Arts channel.